Before going into detail about how to analyze each protocol in a PCAP, we need to understand the ways to gather a PCAP file. The basic steps to gather a PCAP in Wireshark itself can be simple, however, bringing into traffic in both the hard part as well as the fun part. This can include taps, port mirroring, MAC floods, and ARP poisoning. This lecture will not cover how to set up these various strategies of live packet capturing and will only cover the basic theory of each. Some things to think about before going headfirst into attempting to collect and monitor live packet capture. Begin by starting with a sample capture to ensure that everything is correctly set up and you are successfully capturing traffic. Ensure that you have enough compute power to handle the number of packets based on the size of the network. This will obviously vary network by network. Ensure enough disk space to store all of the packet captures. Once you meet all these criteria and have a collection method picked out, you can begin to actively monitor and collect packets on a network. Network taps are a physical implant in which you physically tap between a cable. These techniques are commonly used by threat-hunting defer teams and red teams in an engagement to sniff and capture packets. Another option for planting a network tap would be an inline network tap, which you would plant between or inline's two network devices. The tap will replicate packets as they pass the tap. An example of this tap would be the very common throwing star line tap. McFloods are a tactic commonly used by red teams as a way of actively sniffing packets. McFlooding is intended to stress the switch and fill the CAM table. Once the CAM table is filled, the switch will no longer accept new MAC addresses, and so, in order to keep the network alive, the switch will send out packets to all ports of the switch. This technique should be used with extreme caution and with explicit prior consent. ARP poisoning is another technique used by red teams to actively sniff packets. By ARP poisoning, you can redirect the traffic from the host to the machine you're monitoring from. This technique will not stress network equipment. Like McFlooding, however, should still be used with caution and only if other techniques like network taps are unavailable.